Welcome back to Golf Weekly. Thanks for joining us again. I'm your host, Daniel Cort, and I'm joined again this week, 2 times in a row. Chris Hendrix with the Golf Store Outlet.
Daniel, how you doing today?
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you.
Chris Tremblay, Golf Island Golf School, JPGA.
Always a pleasure being here, Daniel.
Head instructor. And as I came in today, man's wearing all black. So I called him Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
And I was working on one with you, and Uncle Fester is all I could come up with.
You know, you got to do what you got to do. It's all right with me.
Maybe Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean's a little bit better.
It's a good one.
Squeaky clean.
Nonetheless, looking good today, guys. Well, in this segment, we're going to talk PGA Championship, and then we'll move past that, hopefully fairly quickly enough to talk a little bit of Ryder Cup, which I think the scoring
the U.S. team is finalized after this week.
We're done after this week. Okay, we'll get back to that. Guys, Rory McIlroy, what do you say? It's 2 majors now at the age of 23, so he's kind of on pace with Tiger in that sense, but he's won both his first 2 majors by 8 shots. What do you think?
He also is the, if I'm not mistaken, 3 months younger than Nicklaus.
Yes.
Winning.
At
I
that
think
pace.
that's it, at that pace. Yeah.
Yes.
It's got to be nice walking up number 18 with an 8-shot lead. You know, you got to have the warm fuzzies.
Yeah, and it almost he seemed in this major like he was taking it in a lot more relaxed.
Right.
You know, really enjoying the moment, soaking it in versus his first major, which I think, you know, it almost like he couldn't let the air out until that was over, even though he dominated that one.
Well, after
too.
the first one, we have to keep in mind that it was right on the heels of the Masters collapse where he shot 40-something on the back 9 and, you know, hit the houses on the cabins on the left off of 10 and so on. So once again, he was going into his last round with the lead. And it was, you know, was it going to happen again or was he going to come through? So he came through. This week, I think, and Chris and I were talking about it earlier, he made that birdie on the second hole, and that seemed to relax him.
Yeah, that kind of kick-started it and got him up and going. And, you know, some of the guys were trying. Ian Poulter, went 5 or 6 birdies in a row.
Yeah.
And thought he was going to make a little charge, and then he kind of fell back. And everybody, and then, of course, you know, the one we talked about as well before you came in, Tiger.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask both of you something.
That was my pick, and he's just not getting it done on the weekend.
If I had told you going into the year that 3 of the 4 majors this year, he'd be leading going into the weekend, and come the final 9, he wouldn't even be a factor, what would you have said to that?
I would say no, not a chance.
Yeah, I would have figured it, like I told you, he would have won at least one of them.
Well, and what interested me about Tiger in this tournament that I've never heard, and it's almost like he's trying to come up with some sort of justification in his own mind of what's happening. But he said to the press that I went out on Saturday trying to relax. Now, I heard John Feinstein say in an interview this morning, he said, if I had heard him say that and I was interviewing him, I would say, okay, who are you and what did you do with Tiger Woods?
Exactly.
When did Tiger Woods ever relax on the weekend in a major when he was in contention? It almost seems like he's trying to find something mentally. Maybe, and what I seem to think that he's doing is putting so much pressure, because he has been in contention on the weekend, to get that next major, because his only goal right now seems to be catching Jack Nicklaus's 18.
That's right.
And it's almost like he did not perform well in any of the majors on the weekend, and it's almost as if there's
well,
too
if
much
he's
pressure.
going in and that's the plan is to relax, he needs a new plan because the relaxing plan isn't working. That one's not cutting it. No.
Grit down and get after it like you used to do. That's what everybody wants to see, especially like you said, 3 majors coming in, final rounds, in contention, and then all of a sudden he's not even on the first and second page almost.
Right. And you know,
the relax is really working too well.
Despite his 3 victories this year, he says without a major win, it's not a successful season for him.
Right.
Well, I would have to say for Rory, a successful season. I mean, this kid seems to have the mind, certainly the game, and at the age of 23 to have 2 majors under your belt, it looks like this train may keep going.
Well, I think he really showcased his talents. You know, he showed what he can truly do, how he can pull away from the field without, for lack of a better term, any problem. I mean, he just pulled away there in the middle of the round and just kept on going.
Yeah, he just went at it.
Pulled away. One of the best final rounds in a major that you've ever seen. I mean, no one was sniffing him.
Especially on that golf course where one swing can be a big oopsie.
Absolutely, and there was no flappability in his game.
No. Absolutely right.
That tournament. Well, guys, let's move real quickly into Ryder Cup and try to put some focus on that. Chris, you've got some information.
Yes, well,
there.
we have the 8 that have qualified, first in points was Tiger. Bubba Watson, Jason Duffner, Keegan Bradley, Webb Simpson, Zach Johnson, Matt Kuchar, and Phil Mickelson held on to 8th place.
Wow.
And then obviously we got down to the 8 picks, or the four picks. And if you go, though, on number 9, 10, 11, and 12, you have Hunter Mahan, Steve Stricker, Jim Furyk, and Ricky Fowler. And I would venture to say that those are four right there that, you know, you could probably pick and justify because they all have experience. They've all done well in the Ryder Cup.
That's right.
And, you know, that's probably the captain's biggest fear is picking somebody like Ricky Fowler when he was picked in 2010 because it would have been his first time and being picked on the team.
Right.
If he doesn't produce, certainly the captain is going to go ahead and hear about it. And in this case, all four of them have, I would think most people would agree, a plethora of experience, not only in Ryder Cup but in big tournaments. And I think Davis Love probably, he might have a simple chore, even though it's always not that simple to go ahead and pick for the Ryder Cup, but to take those four can be easily justified.
Now, what do you think about, I've heard a number of people say that, you know, other guys that might fall into that consideration would be like a Brandt Snedeker.
Brandt Snedeker, a Dustin Johnson. You know, Dustin, he was injured for a while, and he's also has experience. I mean, you know, sure, they're great players.
Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, what it comes down to in the Ryder Cup, I think more than anything, you definitely need to look at experience, and all four of those have experience, and they've all been successful. Granted, Hunter had a tough time last time, but I think
Ricky Fowler dominated Walker Cup as well, and I know it's not the same thing, but it's kind of the same format. He was just younger. But
he played well in the Ryder Cup 2 years ago.
Exactly.
Where's the Ryder Cup going to be held this year?
It's going to be in Medina in Chicago.
Medina in Chicago. Yeah. Well, you know, if we're ever going to get that thing back, that's a good place to do it.
Exactly.
And that team right there, if you just go with that 12, I think we got a solid chance to defend. But I tell you, those Europeans keep
they play well.
They keep
at us.
They keep climbing. Well, world number 1 and 2 right now.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive stuff. Well, it's going to be interesting. It's always exciting. Fast first segment. Man, these things are flying by.
All right,
we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be with Chris, who's got some various equipment that he brought out of the store.
Yep.
Going to walk us through and explain it to us and tell you how you can get your hands on some really good values. Stay with us.